I do love that we're getting the return of Bo Nickal. What a star he is becoming. What an absolute stud. And this feels like a big step up. This feels like the appropriate step up in his career. We last saw him in April. He returns this Saturday fighting for the very first time at Madison Square Garden as a pro mixed martial artist. And he's kind enough to join us, the pride of Penn State. Hello, Mr. Bo Nickal. How are you?
Doing well, Ariel. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
It's great to talk to you. Have you ever, I'm the first to admit I'm not a wrestling aficionado. I'm trying to get in there. I get a little of this and that. Have you ever competed at MSG in wrestling or in any other competition?
Yeah, I actually did once. So my freshman year of college was MSG, and unfortunately, that was the one that I didn't win.
Oh
So
no.
I'll get a little bit of redemption. So I'm excited.
Did that come to mind when you got this? Did you say like, oh, this is my chance to right the wrong? Like, do you think of those things?
100%. Yeah, for sure. It was something that when I was wrestling, it was kind of a bummer because I felt like I'd probably never get to compete there again. But then as soon as I transitioned over to MMA, then it was something that was on my mind for sure. I was like, oh, nice. I get to get some redemption back there.
So that was 2016?
Yes, sir. 2016.
So what happened? Who can you tell us about? Because 2017, 18, and 19 you won back to back to back, freaking stud of a career. But what happened in 16?
It was just one that got away from me. I was wrestling a guy from Ohio State, really tough wrestler, great competitor, and yeah, it was got my butt whooped.
Yeah, and where
So,
is he now? Where's that guy now?
so his name is Miles Martin. He competed for a while. Was very good college wrestler. Competed internationally for a little bit, and I think as far as I know, he's in Florida, doing some work in construction, something like that. But yeah, wish him the best. We wrestled, I think, at least a dozen times throughout our career, and yeah, he got me on that one.
And is it like if you competed 12 times, 11-1 is your record against him?
10-2.
What happened the second time, Bo? I'm not used to you losing anything.
So he was two of my three collegiate losses. So I don't really lose much, obviously, but yeah, he was just the
Incredible.
next best guy, and we had a lot of battles, but it was fun. I enjoyed having a rival of sorts. Some people say it was a rivalry, some people say it wasn't because obviously it was a little lopsided. But in my mind, he was always my rival.
First time for you fighting as a pro in the UFC outside of Vegas. Does this feel different? Does this feel fresh? How do you feel about this?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited. This is going to be fun. The only thing I'm not that excited about is that I'm probably going to fight at 11 p.m. So
Mm.
it's my bedtime usually, and actually even earlier than that. I usually go to bed 10:30, so I'm having to adjust. But yeah, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of energy, and I think that given the proximity to Pennsylvania, I'm going to have a lot of fans. So that's something I'm really excited about. I'm expecting a big turnout for my fans.
Considering you say you usually go to bed 10:30, have you been changing your sleep schedule to train closer to when you'll be fighting?
Yeah, I'm adjusting it. This week or this past week, there's been some adjustments and stuff, but you never want to do something for the first time on fight night. So I feel well prepared, and I'm making the adjustment.
I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, this will be your first fight as a father, right? With your baby born. Am I right about that, or was she born? Is it a boy or girl? Sorry,
Boy, yeah,
boy.
he was born last December, so I fought once, but this will be the first one. Oh, that's so cute. Nice
Uh,
picture.
that's an amazing
Um,
picture.
yeah, that's great. This will be the first fight that he's not coming to the venue, but he'll be in New York with me.
Oh wow. Okay, so we were just talking to Stipe, 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and he said, everyone has a different mentality, but easier to keep them at home. Why do you want to bring your son?
It's really more just like my wife and the rest of my family really want to come. So he's going to be back at the Airbnb with my mother-in-law while I'm fighting, and because everybody else wants to be there and stuff. But yeah, I mean, for me, what I do, I don't really like to switch up the mentality and try to become a different person to go fight. I'm just the same person all the time. And, I'm a family guy and I love spending time with those people. So I'm going to do the same thing all the way up until my fight. It's just another day for me.
When I brought you on, I said I think this is a step up for you and an appropriate step up. Do you agree with that? This feels like the first like real big name that you have fought very early on in your career. Do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, of course, a lot of people know Paul Craig, and he's had some really big wins in his career, and he's a dangerous opponent. He's finished guys that have been champions and have fought for the belt. So, this is definitely the most dangerous fight I've had up to this point, and a big step up. But I feel prepared and ready to, just continue to build my reputation.
When was your what was your reaction when you found out that they wanted you to fight him next?
I said, "Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready to go." And I felt like that's that's what I want to do. I want to have step up in competition every single time I fight. Felt like this was a step up and an appropriate one, and it just gives me a chance to, like I said, continue to build my reputation, test my skills, and improve as a fighter overall.
What I love so much about this matchup isn't just the fact that he is, a veteran. He's fought some tough guys. He's been around. He's well respected. Obviously, we know about your wrestling background. We know how good he is on the mat as well. He's good off his back. And I find that dynamic to be very fascinating. The wrestler versus the grappler, the wrestler versus someone who's very comfortable off his back. And so I'm just wondering if you feel the same way. Is this a nice way to check off, say like, okay, you guys think that, I could just beat a striker, take him down, or I can outstrike maybe a lower level striker. Give me a grappler and I'll show you what I do against him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd agree with that. I think that for me, it's just another puzzle to solve. It's another challenge to face. And I'm looking to continue to just develop my skills overall and improve and get better as a fighter. So, this is a different challenge than what I've had in the past. And it makes it more fun for me. For me, the fighting is all, it's a little bit physical, but it's mostly mental. And so I'm looking forward to just going out there and showcasing my mind and my fight IQ and just the way that I can continue to control opponents and dominate every second.
I don't know if you look at this stuff or care, but I think last I checked, you're like a minus 1,000 going into this fight. I'm used to you being that kind of a favorite against maybe some of the other names. Against Paul Craig is pretty incredible. Are you surprised by this?
No, the odds don't really surprise me. I figured they would be even crazier. It's almost like a mania. So every time I come to fight, I think the people know who are going to win. So yeah, it's all good. But what do you think the odds should be?
Oh, it's just more about like his resume and the fact that he's been around. I was thinking before looking, I thought maybe they'd have you listed as like a minus 750 or something like that. 1,000 is really like, you often see that in women's boxing or women's MMA. It's rare on a UFC main card between a veteran and someone of your stature to see a 1,000 or 1,500, something like that. So that's why I was a touch surprised. Not suggesting that you shouldn't be a big favorite at all, but minus 1,000 is pretty incredible.
It is. Well, if you were to make the odds, what would you set them at?
Oh, okay. So I'm not the guy, but I would like what came to mind was if I had to predict, I would have said like minus 750.
So you think I'll win 75 times out of 100?
No, don't do this to me. Is that really how it is? I mean, I'm not that good at math. Okay, so what would minus 1,000 be? Would that be?
That would be 10-1. So that would be like 90%.
Okay, interesting. You know what? Now that I think about it, I think minus 2,500 is what I meant. I meant it should have been more as opposed to. Yes, that's what I meant. Oh, geez. We once had a feud. I'm not looking to go back there, Bo. I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm trying to.
No, I'm just putting you on the spot.
No, I know. It's just more that he's a veteran, and you don't often see that. And do you think that he's on the back nine? I know you like to play golf. Would you think that he's on the downswing of his career at this point?
It's so hard to say with fighters. Of course, you can look at the trend and him losing 4 of his last 5. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that if you look at traditional kind of careers and the way they go, his age, his last 5, he's on the back half. But you see guys make turnaround, and it's all good. For me, I hope that Paul Craig's been a big name and a guy that's competed in the UFC for a long time. So hopefully I'll go out there, dominate him, and do what I do. And, they'll keep him on the roster for at least another fight. So I don't really wish anybody ill. I just, I'm going to go do my thing, and then hopefully he'll just continue on whatever path he has for him.
I do think that 185 isn't good for him. He looks too sunken in. How do you feel about how he looks at 185?
Yeah, that's a big cut. You know, from what I've seen, when people drop a weight class later in their career, I've not seen it really go well. I've
Hmm.
seen people go up and it go well, but I haven't seen the drop in weight class really improve a fighter overall, at least not to my knowledge. And so, yeah, I mean, it's something that weight cut is not fun. You know, I'm not cutting a crazy amount of weight. He's definitely cutting more weight than me, but still I don't enjoy it, and I'm sure he's hurting even right now, even still almost a week out.
How do you feel about this factoid? Um, Total combined fight time in your pro MMA career, 9 minutes and 37 seconds. All your fights, all 6 pro MMA fights. His last fight, 7 minutes and 10 seconds alone. So you're just 2 more minutes than him in all your fights combined. That's pretty remarkable.
It is, yeah, it's crazy. It's weird to think about how much experience these guys have in the cage versus what I have. But I mean, I don't need to even say this; it goes without saying. But what I also carry with me is 10,000 plus wrestling matches, and I've already competed in Madison Square Garden, sold out. You know, I've competed in front of 20,000 people hundreds of times, and so you know, it's something that I'm very used to and very comfortable doing. And I always carry that with me, that experience. And I just know how I'm going to feel when the lights are on and when the pressure's on.
As far as the best that you can be in MMA, how far away do you think you are from your final form?
Well, that's an interesting question. You know, I've kind of reframed my mindset towards this because, you know, coming into MMA, I had these goals of I want to be UFC world champion. I want to be the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. And lately I've reframed that to just I want to continue to just get better and improve and see where I can go and not really put a limit on it. Because even though, you know, to most people, UFC champion, pound for pound #1 fighter in the world seems like an unattainable goal, I'm putting a cap on what I can do at the end of the day. It's still putting a cap on it. And so my focus has been now just improvement. And I think that I'm just going to continue to do that until my career is over. And even past that, you know, I'm going to continue to pursue being a martial artist and learning and getting better at every single thing. You know, I think that when I'm done competing, I'm still going to be training. You know, hopefully I'll still do some jiu-jitsu competitions, stuff like that. And so this is not a destination thing for me. It's really like a journey, even though that's super kind of cliche. I can't believe I even said that.
Wow, no, no,
Sounds
no.
lame.
I liked it. We put that on a t-shirt. That is actually a big shift because for as long as I've been talking to you, you always talk about being #1 pound for pound. When did this happen and why?
You know, I just feel like um, I'm always trying to grow and improve as a fighter, as a person, as a dad, as a husband. And so I'm looking at different, you know, reading different things or listening to different people and kind of trying to surround myself with people that are smarter than me and better than me at things that I want to do. And I think that's just kind of what was revealed to me is the people that do the best, they're not focused on that destination. They're focused on the journey and just continually self improving and making themselves better. And I feel like that's what I want to do as well. You know, if my goal is that and I achieve it, it's like what's next. You know, it's always a what's next. So for me, it's I don't want to get caught in that trap of um, the repetitiveness of the cycle of set a goal, achieve it, what's next? Set a goal, achieve it, what's next? It's I would rather just be on this journey and enjoy my time and be more centered and grounded.
One thing that I think maybe the only complaint that people could have about your UFC career so far is that they want to see more of you, that they wish they could see you every couple of months, especially since you're not, you're not getting banged up, you're not getting hit, etc. Do you think in 25 we'll see more of you, or do you like the sort of on average 2 fights a year cadence that you're at right now?
You know, I would like to fight more, of course. For me, the fight and the actual competition is the most fun part of what I do, and so I would love to fight more. There's just a lot of different things kind of at work, and it's tough when you know, as you mentioned, I'm fighting guys with 25 plus fights, and I have 6 fights. So a lot of my development has to be done in the gym. I don't have the luxury of getting 10 amateur fights and then getting 15, 20 pro fights with low level guys the way they do in boxing or the way they do in other sports. I don't have the luxury of doing that. So I got to get a lot of my reps in the gym and get a lot of the experience in other ways. And so I think that my path is just different than what most people's path is. And that's fine. I also, enjoy hunting and fishing and spending time with people I love. And so, that's definitely not the main priority in my life. The main priority is being the best fighter I can be, but I'm just enjoying my life and doing what I love at the pace that, I think is right.
There's usually a moment where it's like a shift, like you get a big win and then the rocket is strapped to you. A win at MSG, is that the moment for you? Or like when do we start to see you in these like really, really high profile fights, main events, etc.?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel that already. I feel like the rocket's been strapped to me since after my first pro fight. That was, I'm trying to even think of the date. What was that? Maybe like 2.5 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the rocket's been strapped to me for a while. But if you look at anybody else's career, they're fighting over a decade before they're in that position. And I think I'll be in there probably around year. I mean, I'm basically there. I win one or two more fights, and I'm fighting a ranked guy, and then I'm fighting a top five, and then I'm fighting for the belt. So that's I'm already. If I have 6 fights right now, I'm already past the halfway point. If that's the trajectory.
The word is that the newly elected president, Mr. Donald Trump, is going to be in attendance on Saturday. He appears to have a great fondness of you. I think you might be his favorite fighter. He's mentioning you all the time. There you guys are on the golf course. Is that what you're hearing as well? I see the caption there, see you at MSG. And could I ask, where did this friendship come from? How did it all materialize?
Yeah, it's a long story. I guess first, I feel like, yeah, I think he's going to be there. He's told me a couple of times he's going to be there. So, he's the president. He's the most powerful man in the world. So I'm sure that if he's not there, there was something else that was more important. But I think he's going to be there. And yeah, this really started in 2019. So I won the Nationals and got invited to the White House and met him there. Told him I was going to fight. He asked me if I needed a manager and he would manage me for the fights. I was like, I think you're a little too busy, but so it kind of started there. And then after I think my second fight in the UFC would have been UFC 290. He was in the crowd and invited me to come golf with him at Bedminster right after that. So I flew back out to New Jersey that week. We golfed together, and then since then he kind of liked me for whatever reason. I don't know. And of course, I loved hanging out with him, loved spending time with him and learning and just talking about stuff. And so we've hung out a bunch since then. We did get a live golf tournament at his course and sat in the suite with him, and then golfed with him again this past summer. But yeah, it's really weird for me to have him be mentioning me as much as he has. And yeah, I think that it's just an honor and such a cool thing for the president of the United States to, be a fan of you. And yeah, so it's just, it feels crazy. I'm just a small town guy and grew up wrestling, doing a humble sport, working hard. And now I have the, most famous and most powerful man in the world mentioning me in interviews and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Are you on a texting relationship? Like, can you just text him? How does that work if you're trying to text the president?
Yeah. We can. He actually, after my last fight, he called me that the next morning on Sunday morning, and we talked about it for 10 minutes or so. And since then, I don't want to bother him because he's obviously doing his thing, but I'll shoot him a text here and there. He'll send me some encouragement. I'll send him some encouragement, that type of thing.
Wow, that is wild. There's a lot of people who try to be the apple of his eye. Do you think in the rankings you're number one? Do you think you're his favorite fighter?
I don't know. I think I got to get a few more wins and prove myself. But we'll get there. I think it's cool. From our conversations, he definitely believes in me. And, most of the time when we talk, we're chatting about fighting or, chat about football, talk about boxing, sports and stuff. And he's super knowledgeable on it. And I think he thinks I'm going to be the next champion, and I'd agree with that. So he's watched a lot of sports, and he's a pretty smart guy. So his opinion matters a lot.
My dream fight, you didn't ask me, but my dream fight at 185 is you versus Khamzat Chimaev. That's the one for so many reasons. Did you watch his last fight against Robert Whittaker? And if so, what did you think, especially of the takedown and then the finish?
Yeah, I did watch it, and I think it was super impressive. To be honest, it's funny because a lot of people expected that to be a tough fight for him, and you can ask around all the people that I talked to. I kind of thought he would do that to Whittaker, which it's so it's one thing to think that or to kind of see that happening, but he actually did it, which is super impressive. Whittaker's not an easy fight for anybody, and he made it look easy. So I was really impressed with his last performance. And yeah, it seemed like he kind of took a different mentality into the fight as well, which was cool to see. But that's a fight I'm looking forward to. I think obviously he's quite a bit ahead of me right now, but he'll be fighting for the belt soon, and then I'll catch up quick.
I saw a young man, a UFC debutant, Reinier the Ritter, mention wanting to fight you. Did you see his debut on Saturday? And if so, what'd you make of it?
Yeah, I watched his fight. I mean, he's got a good record. He's definitely, a lot stronger in the jiu-jitsu department than the striking department. I think he's honestly very similar to Paul Craig. He has a lot of similarities and the way they fight. And it was a good fight. It was a competitive fight, but I wouldn't say I was really like impressed with it.
Okay, so not something that you're like. For example, I saw you mention Shara Bullet. Like that's a fight that maybe interests you more than this one.
Honestly, I'd fight either of those guys. I don't really think that either of those fights are, you know, I think that anybody at this level is a dangerous fight, but I don't feel like those guys pose a big threat to me. So we'll see. I would definitely. I'm focused on UFC 309 and Paul Craig, but after that, either of those guys I'd be down to fight for sure.
One I'd love to see is Bout Nickal versus Darren Till. Did you see him take a shot at you on Twitter? I mean, what's up with this guy? You see this?
This dude's hilarious. It's so funny. I feel like Darren is the guy that I would actually probably be friends with him if we were trained together or on the same team. But he actually seems just like a funny dude. And I mean, I don't even want to. I acknowledge it because he's Darren Till and he's fought for the belt and everybody knows him. But it's like, come on, bro. Like everybody and their mother knows what I would do to you, man. It's not, and it wouldn't be good.
The thing is, to me, is validation on what you're doing. The Darren Tills of the world aren't doing the laughing emoji thing if there's not some form of, I don't want to say jealousy, but that they see what's happening to you and what you're getting and where you're going, and he's trying to attach himself to you. He's probably not doing that a year ago or even 2 years ago.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's Twitter, so he's looking for interaction, engagement, and I think he's a smart guy. He knows that a lot of people are interested in me and what I'm doing, and he wants to attach himself to that. But as far as like real competitive fights, like that guy, he's not lasting like more than a minute or two. It would be. I would do it because I would get paid and I would make an easy check. So that's not a problem with me. But if we're talking realistically, like no, it's not a competitive fight.
How long is Paul Craig lasting on Saturday?
That's the thing. I feel like, I mentioned earlier talking about development, talking about changing my mindset from a goal-oriented focus to, just improvement. And it's the same thing with the way I'm looking at this fight. I'm going in very open and just with a open, creative mindset where we'll see how the fight plays out. We'll see where it goes. And so, it could go a decision. I could finish him in 30 seconds. And either way, I would be fine with it just because I want to continue to improve as a fighter. I don't think that he'll be able to make it 3 rounds. I don't think he'll be able to make it to a decision, but if it happens, it happens. It's all good. I'm just looking forward to competing and doing something spectacular out there.
And by the way, before I let you go, shout out to the YouTube channel. I like the stuff that you're putting up there, different type of stuff. You're clearly, you're giving it some TLC. And you even had our guest who's joining us in a moment in studio, Michael Chandler, on a nice little chat between you two. Nice to see an ATT guy and a Kill Cliff guy come together. What's the relationship there with Mike?
Yeah, I think before, obviously ATT, Kill Cliff rivals, but both of us are wrestlers, so we share that common ground and share that foundation. And so, I think that we vibe on that level, and we know, just what it takes to be a high level competitor in wrestling. And yeah, it was great to talk to him. Great to get some insight into his mentality, and really with the YouTube channel, the podcast, that's what I'm looking to do, is just get insight to how the top performers in the world are thinking. And that doesn't necessarily even have to be exclusive to MMA. That could be any industry. And that's what I'm interested in. And I want to see how successful people's minds work and what they do to achieve what they've achieved. So Ariel, maybe you'll be our next guest. That'd be fun.
Oh, you know what? I was actually just about to make a you caught me. I was just about to make a joke. Wow, sounds like you're talking about me. Yet you haven't invited me on, and then there you are inviting me on. We're still due for a little cookout. I'm still, waiting to try.
I'll bring some steaks to New York. I'll drop them off.
Listen, I had my sister-in-law made. I hope she's not listening. Very good chance she's not. Actually, 0% chance she's listening. It was so rare. I mean, I had to do the old napkin thing, this thing, and then I had to do that. I couldn't believe it. I thought of you, man. And I thought of Michael Chiesa. You're the two that I think of when I think of raw meat, for whatever reason, because he always texts me his gross meat. Wait, pause.
Yeah, pause.
He texts me his... How do I get out of this, Bo? He texts me his uncooked steak. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
It's raw beef.
It's raw beef. If we ever have an opportunity, I would love to take you up on that. Well done. Good luck on Saturday. Minus 2,500 by the time you walk out, and you should get Donald to come in the ring and lift your arm, something like that. I mean, he loves you so much. I feel like he'd say yes, if I'm being honest.
We'll do it. I'll shoot him a text.
All right. Thank you, Bo. All the best and good luck to you.
Thanks, Ariel. Have a good one.
There he is. Oh my gosh, Bo Nickal. What a guy. Am I going to get cooked there or what? Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor. Hit that sub button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.